So here's the acorn squash cut open. So we're going to be prepping these butternut squash. And the first thing we want to do is make a little cut here so that they lay nice and flat in the pan and they don't tip over. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring this down and just hold this as flat as I can, keeping my fingers out of the way, and just shave off a little bit from the bottom. So you see that that will sit nice and flat now. Now it's not going to move. And we're going to place this right in our baking pan. All right, let me do the other one very quickly. Get my fingers out of the way. And now you can see we've done the second one nice and flat. We'll place that in the baking pan as well. The next thing we need to do is add some butter. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut up a nice big chunk of butter. That's about, I would say, 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and drop that right in. All right, so far, really easy, right? I'm also going to take my fork and I'm going to, let me move this over so you can see exactly what I'm doing, make a few little pricks right here with my fork. Don't go too far in. And what this is going to do is that's going to allow that butter to kind of absorb into some of your squash and also some of those spices to absorb into the squash as well. So turn that around and there we go. All right. So the next part is we need to give it some spices. I mentioned spices, so let's go ahead and put in a little bit of garlic powder. So I'm just gonna give that a little season, not too much. I would say not even 1/4 teaspoon, just a very little bit to get that going. We also want to add in some salt. So let's go ahead and put some salt. You can always add more later, so just put some salt to just kind of get this started. Some pepper. And then for our next and most important part, we're going to be bringing in brown sugar. How much brown sugar? All right, so I have a tablespoon measurement right here. So let's just say a tablespoon. That works. If your squashes were bigger, you would add a little bit more. So a tablespoon of that brown sugar. But we're not done yet. I want to bring in a little bit of cinnamon. All right, so just a tiny bit, those fall flavors. If you like nutmeg, you could also do nutmeg. I prefer the cinnamon. And not too much, just a little bit, just to add with that brown sugar, I think will make it nice. And then because we want it to look beautiful and we want it to pull all together and have that nice brown aspect on the outside of it, we're going to add some paprika. All right, so let's go ahead and just put some paprika on the top. There we go. All right, so now you can see our squash is prepped and ready to go in the oven, with the exception of one thing. I want to put a little bit of water down here in the bottom of the pan. Added some water to the bottom of my pan. Now, I can cook these covered for 20 minutes and then uncover them for the last 10 minutes of the process. We'll check them and see if they're done at that point. Every squash is a little different. They're all different sizes. So I always start with a 30-minute window, and then if we need to cook them longer, we can. Thanks for watching For the Love of Food.